Today's conversation is bigger than mistakes. It's about rebuilding. Reentry is not just about leaving incarceration, it's about returning to society with hope, purpose, structure, and opportunity. Too many individuals come home ready for change but face barriers in employment, housing, transportation, education, and acceptance. The truth is this: successful reentry strengthens families, improves communities, reduces crime, creates productive citizens. Everybody deserves an opportunity to grow beyond their worst moment. This is Collective Conversations. Today's special guest, we have Miss Kiana Moore. How you doing, man?
I'm
How you
doing
doing?
good. How you guys
How's
doing
it
today?
going? Doing good.
So, starting off, you've been a guest here before, but we'll just begin by you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
All right, my name is Kiana Moore. I'm the president and founder of Just a Bunch of Felons Incorporated. We are a community-driven organization, just trying to assist people that are coming home from prison and coming out of rehab, re-enter into society successfully. That's a little about what I do on the daily.
So I know you structured your because we've met a few times. So you structured it to have different things that milestones that they would reach, right, to get out of your program, right? Tell me a little bit about the program part though, what you just made with Just a Bunch of Felons, the program part.
Okay, so in the beginning, we'll do an intake form. We'll structure a success plan for them.
Okay.
Depending on, I know everybody's situation is different, so
Right.
I can't give you an exact structure,
Right,
but
right,
from the first part that we have is accountability. That's the first thing. We're going to take accountability today, and we're never going to talk about it again from here on to anyone. So from there, if you're in rehab, we make sure that you're going to all your meetings. We make sure that you're passing drug screens. From there, we're going to get you into some type of financial literacy or workplace readiness course, which I partnered with you guys
Right,
assisted with.
Right.
And I feel like that'll help them gain the knowledge that they need to be able to ace an interview, and then be able to be stable after that with the financial knowledge that they receive. And then once they keep their job for 6 months, they'll go up a step.
Okay.
And after a year, they're ready to graduate.
So I named delving a little deep. How did you come up with that part though? I mean, because that is good to have definitely have the nonprofit, but to come up with that structure.
I had to work on myself first.
Right.
So I had to sit down. I had to take accountability. Like, hey, don't blame it on your past.
Right.
A lot of people have a past and they became successful, Kiana.
Right.
From then, I never could keep a job. I was very unstable, bouncing around, just trying to find out who I was. So once I got that stability,
Right.
it showed me like, hey, I got, I got a little structure here. I can keep me a house. I could pay my car payment now.
Right.
I don't have to go back to the streets because I know I got a income coming in. And then the financial literacy part of it is being able to save my money. I want to be able to spend my money on my bills and still have some for me
Right.
at the end of the day.
Right.
And that's really what's kept me going and not having my back against the wall anymore. So basically just starting with me.
And that's weird when you say starting with me, because the thing is, like, when we do recovery or anything in life, when people, kind of make mistakes, if someone's teaching them that they feel they didn't go through it, then they're like, well, how would you know? You don't even know nothing about
Right.
this. So then they won't, it's not that they really have to, but, it can be better, right? So there's no excuse, basically. There's no running. I did it. But, and you don't come, and I know I've talked to you several times, so I know you don't come into, well, I did it, you can do it. Not
Right.
that, but you're there.
Right.
There is no excuse. Somewhere where I go, do a Bible study with and talk to the fellows at the fellowship home, same sort of thing. It's like, the one that runs it, he went through it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different for them to say, well, I can come in there and speak, but, he carries a lot of weight just because he's, actually been through it.
Right.
And a lot of that is just, like I said, for him, you talked last time you were on here about several people have went through things as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But to be, like I said, I always say to be so young. That's why I say about collaborating, it's nothing to collaborate because it's one of those things. It's like, we need, to be together.
Yeah.
I mean, and do things, that's what working together, we work stronger together, and that's the truth. And like I said, we're going to start today, actually. I mean, it's kind of neat that we have to have this show with this early. We haven't really had it this early before, but I mean, we're just doing it to, get the awareness out. We'll have, classes up here. Like I said, it'll be every Wednesday and Thursday of the month, of every month. So, well, only difference is, it will be here this month and next month, but actually we'll be moving. We'll be moving offices coming July, so it'll be different then. But we'll come up with all those things and tell you then. But I mean, we're super excited for it. Mike will teach today. I'll teach tomorrow. Just recently, he was sick, so just recently we had taught some kids a business etiquette this weekend. But it's been a while since I have taught. I used to teach like CPR, first aid, stuff like that as well. So it was kind of neat to get back in there and do it. I mean, of course, he finished it up the next day, but it's just keeping them involved. Yeah. But definitely a different type of learning. So it's always a challenge to us to see what type, because you never know. Some people are visual, some people, can listen, but a lot of times activities, a lot of times is what, what gets them, especially in the financial lit part.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, one of them things too, we always try to do, like making sure it's in the room.
Yeah.
Kind of how you said, it's just like action, like whether it's through an activity, just learning where you don't realize you're doing it, or outright, okay, write this budget.
Yeah.
These are your finances.
Yes.
Let's knock them out.
Yes. Yeah. More hands-on. I'm telling you, because I'm more of a hands-on learner myself. Like people would sit there and talk for days, and I done went everywhere with my mind, and then back to they asking me a question I can't even answer it. So yeah, I'm a hands-on learner myself.
And a lot of it is like you said. So you said all the things you offer, right? But then when they're not offered, it's like, I mean, what I thought she said, so it's a bigger weight that you carry than you probably even know that you do. I mean, you just said you were at parole yesterday. Yes. It's just the one but showing up, now they know. Yes. I mean, how long you been there? How long you been going to parole?
Not long, probably for just a few months.
Good. But that's a lot. That's a while. I mean, just to be consistent. I bet you they know you.
Oh yeah, they do.
See,
they know me in the jail.
That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. It's like one of those things. It's like it comes with definitely because seeing a familiar face, but also seeing somebody that cares we think it doesn't mean anything. It means something to say hi to somebody sometimes in the morning. You never know what somebody might be going through. Just to speak to them, and to be kind to them. So that's one of the things that it speaks about. Real quick, reentry. It means beyond incarceration. That's a lot of times what we think it's mental. It's emotional transition back into society. It's a lot of what we speak about. But the challenges that people face are like employment, housing, transportation, identification, documents, right? And then this one word, stigma. That's the word that we get. Means stigma. And you can't run from the stigma in your name in the name of your nonprofit. But I think there's a story why you named it that. Yeah. You didn't go into it last time, but somebody else told me this.
Yeah.
Reason why. Because they were trying to steer you out of naming it just a bunch of felons.
Yeah, they were.
Do you mind telling us that?
Yeah, so the name actually came from an altercation that I had with someone. And she literally just said, like, you'll never be named. You and your fiance ain't nothing but a bunch of felons. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to show you something with that. That's it. That stigma, though, like you said, that stigma is like, that's the thing. But even when you read the monologue, it improves, our communities. It, reduces crime, all of these different things. Yeah. People just don't see it. I don't know, it's just weird. I mean, sometimes like, people make mistakes and it's over. But we see people all the time making mistakes and it's not over. Yeah. But yet, people locally that we know, I don't get it. I really don't. It's like we, we try to steer ourselves in the right direction. I mean, it's not, when we talk about, doing the partnership with you, it's not to pat ourselves on the back. We do it anyway. Yeah. We do this not every day, but we do it a lot, right? Yeah. So why not offer it to someone, whoever it may be? It may not be, it doesn't say you got to be a felon to come in here and take the class. It doesn't say that. Because reentry is a lot of different things that people have been transitioned from a job being hurt. Off of a job disabled and then coming back to a job and really understanding because it moves so quick.
The job world moves so quick. What are they looking for, right?
And that's what I'm sorry.
No,
That's
go
what
ahead.
I try to explain to people is that that's our dialogue is to, to help with reentry from prison and, coming into society. But at the same time, we are broader than that. We're reentry, like you said, it could be from anything. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, we say just a bunch of felons, but everybody holds that same stigma.
Right.
A person that doesn't have a good job history, give somebody their resume, and the employer is looking at them like, so what you been doing for the past?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
always going to be a stigma there, regardless of what it is. This is about reentry, and everyone that's felt that they can't reenter into society successfully due to the stigma and the backlash that we're getting from our community.
Right. And it's it. I mean, it's always that. I mean, so in these labels, it kind of carries them. I always talked about that one, especially with substance abuse, right? I mean, people use the word addict. They use it, but I don't use it, but they do, and that's fine. I mean, it's how you talk is how you talk, but sometimes it carries a weight on some people to where they feel that that's all what they'll always be, and that's not the case. That's the temporary moment in your life, right? But you're making it a permanent. That's not it. Like I said, for those are things that they have to work out with themselves. But people really do feel isolated a lot of times with the reentry. They do. Because you go around and, like I said before, what are we going to? And I always think that. I always think, like with myself, like when somebody gets in trouble that I know, right? I'll be like, gosh, how they? And I'm thinking in my mind, how are they going to basically re-enter back when they come, when they come back or whatever, and this, the road, but having, places to go, like, you're like I said, your nonprofit is a great thing because then they can, kind of get back on their feet, but people are doing it, right? And I think how long you been doing it now? About 6-7 months?
Yeah, since October.
Right.
Yeah.
So this month is a whole lot different than October when you started, right?
Yes.
And so that's the thing. It's like now you're doing repetitive things. What I mean by that is just the fact now is getting used to a lot of different things now, which is a good thing. I think it's one of those things where once you get that, then you can, somebody know it's solidified. I got a place. I know it sounds crazy, but I've heard a lot of crazy stories about people contacting different people while they're in jail.
Yeah.
And it ain't good, but they contact them just to make sure that they're good when they get out. Think about that. So imagine having a drug dealer or whoever, and all the lady told me was she just make a call once a month. Didn't care if you answered as long as the phone wasn't disconnected. That's all, just to keep going. In the negative way. But what about in the positive way? If we know we have, just a bunch of felons out here doing it, I got a place I can go at least to get, kind of link back in, with society in a way where, you got the cachet to say, oh yeah, and which I'm sure you've had some cases where it didn't go so well.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's more than this.
So tell me that. This is just so maybe I do come out. I'm gung ho about coming out. I'm ready, but then I'm not ready basically. So I kind of fall off for a few months.
Yeah.
Can I come back?
Always. Because listen. The word second chance is broader than that to me because I this is probably like my 18th chance. You get what I'm saying? Right. I'm like, so yeah, you just as long as you got the mindset to come back, and this time don't come back the same as you were the last time.
Right, that's true.
Then you can always come back.
I think that's the thing. I know you mentioned a lot of different things. This is not what we do, of course, because we work on the work side and employment side, but a lot of it is mental health. Or have you linked in anybody with mental health as far as like, link with some people that can give them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with we are actually partnering with Generations.
Okay. Now I did hear that when I was over. I did hear that when I just started that, which is great. I think it goes hand in hand. Yeah. Because like you said before, how can I get out of my own way? Yeah. Right. I mean, that's anybody. That's like you said, it ain't no difference if it's incarceration, anything. How can you get out of your own way? And once you start to learn to do that, the better you can be. And that's, good thing. So like you said, with Generations, I think it'd be a good thing. But that's why I said, you getting out there, getting your name out there now, people ready to partner because they know, because there's a part where, people are like, all right, what is this? Because there's a lot of fly by night things. They do it now and then it's over with, whatever. But when they see you boots on the ground, you get going, parole, doing the things you need to do. That's what, definitely what it takes in order to do that. I mean, because that's important. Community acceptance is important in the way of, definitely having bonds and having partnerships with things.
Yeah, especially from people that know who you are, like the local prosecutors and police officers that knew who you was. They knew you for what you did, and then when you try to make that transition, it's just like, yeah.
And they can be skeptical. They can be skeptical until consistency.
Yeah, you got
when they see consistency, and then also people also, yeah, we talk about doing this. Then when you call, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
And when you talked about it on the screen, we did it. But then I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah.
But when you have that, that helps too. When you have the partnerships that can go, kind of vouch. I mean, for both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, that's the thing. We have to curb this, stigma of thinking that your life's over whenever you get in trouble. It's not. I mean, you see it on TV all the time. Let's get it right. And then that's okay. I mean, like I said before, I don't see that, that's not a bad thing in any way, but, definitely the support needs that. And that's why we talked about, some things that you were talking about as far as what we do. When we talk, we deal with, a lot of work things, a lot of work skills, employment skills, also, some education things as well too. And that's why when we talk about what we're doing today and starting today, it'll be about, definitely about employment, about second chances as well, because it is important. Workplace readiness is important for anyone. Like I said, before, we just worked with some kids that was really young, about 14 and up, right? Just starting to work with it at that age, kind of with teaching them handshakes and how to send a correct email. These are things that we have to do. I mean, it's out there. But, one of the things I think we're going to touch on today is first impressions. Let's get it right. I mean, that's a big thing when it comes to, we did the exercise on first impressions. It got a little, but they didn't know. I mean, sometimes you tell them, you tell them so many things to do in the exercise, but then it blossoms into other things. It was who speak to who first. I never told them that because the exercise doesn't say that. So they can figure out who going to converse first or whatever. But you get and then they start getting into critiquing each other. Well, they not dressed right and stuff like that. But I never told them to dress as a class. You know what I mean? But even having that, in their mind, work is what they were on some of their minds. Then that's why they were saying about how you appropriately dress, and we kind of discuss some of those things as well. But tell me why I wonder what one of the biggest factors is about reentry. What's the biggest factor? I mean, that you see sometimes with certain, because you got to think the people that you work with, they've had jobs before, so that ain't always the problem.
Yeah.
But now coming back in, it might be a little different now. You know what I mean? Because of the job. Because you got to think some of the jobs. I mean, this. Yeah. Some of the jobs pay on the table. Let's get it right. Some jobs pay on the table. Still bring an environment that they probably shouldn't be around. Now, but it bring money. How can I say it? Bring them money every day, whatever. But you write in the lines there again.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that a few different times, especially like kind of in construction work. You get people that are still messed up, right. And then you're trying to mix it in with the good that you're trying to do. But now they done convinced you to get messed up again. You get what I'm saying? Exactly, so that was a good one. So. You want to be in the correct environment whenever you step into stuff like that. That's why if I structure it that way too, when it comes to me putting them at jobs, certain places, like I already done scoped out what's going on. I done went in and talked to the managers. I'm looking around to make sure, that we ain't got 10 addicts back there, and I'm about to bring my person in that just got out of rehab. You get what I'm saying? So I do everything that I'm supposed to do to try to make them be successful from the beginning stages. Now, I can't be there every day to hold their hand.
No, but I think you're right.
Yeah, but I'm one phone call away too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's good. I think it's good. I think some of the factors. What would you think some of the factors could be in reentry?
I'd say in cases that I have, because I work with kids and adults, what I found, especially in recent cases, is probably discouragement in themselves.
Yeah.
A few people that I have, it's like they have good resumes, they have good interview skills and things like that. And to the point where they'll get the job until the background check comes back, and then after that kind of happens so many times, like their drive at times starts to go down. And it's like, we can't do that. We got to stay focused. We got to stay motivated. That's an aspect of the job search. We're not going to get every single one. Sometimes it's not us. Sometimes we weren't the right fit for the position,
Right.
and that's not the same as not being fit.
Yeah.
So I always try to, in these individuals, try to be motivating and try to have very encouraging words because, sometimes I can see it in the eyes, and kind of how you was talking about earlier a little bit. There was a moment that I had here recently where an individual that's working on reentry, they had a person in front of them tell them like, yeah, I know how you feel. And then they stopped them. Like it kind of got a tense moment because it was, no, you don't know how I feel. And that's kind of something that I have at times where it's like, I don't know how you feel. I can try to help. I don't know what that discouragement or that level of discouragement feels like.
Exactly.
And I think that's something, I work close to it and I don't understand, so I know that in most cases, it's not something that people are going to be able to understand or know how to maneuver it,
Exactly. And like you were saying, back to, being able to get the job, you're doing your best you can, and then that background come back, and then now they got to let you go. And then they don't even want to fight for you to keep it, knowing that you are, the perfect candidate. So that's back to what we do, I'm advocating for stuff like that as well. It's a reentry program. Yeah, I'm assisting people the best way I can, but at the same time, I'm in the same shoes that they're in. I have to advocate because who's going to do it for me if I'm doing it for everybody else?
No, you're right.
So
No, you're right.
It's very important to make sure you got that you let them know that, like you're saying, you're going to try to keep them motivated and let them know, just to keep fighting for that because you're better than what they think you are.
Right.
So
one thing I think will be neat later on, Mike has found some interviews. So everybody, on different, like the guys he was talking about, they interview very well, but then the background check come back. That's where their thing is. But some people don't even know how to interview.
yeah.
Right. That's the thing, when it comes interview period, they have nothing to do with, returning, citizens just don't even know how to interview at all. So that's a lot of times when we get on if they gotta be, their mind gotta be open because it's VR. So, you get on the VR and it kind of teaches. It's neat in a way. But I know some people, kind of, drawn back by it, but that's just the way, of getting just, you getting some hands-on things instead of just, us talking about it as well. There's also entrepreneurship, which we teach too, for, because like I said before, I spoke to you about this, about doing jobs where, you can do it and then, and they ain't really asking about your record other than the fact, give you a resume or whatever, but then you can go in, do your thing or whatever. We talk about, some clean the windows or whatever it may be. You got to think, who asks for ID? Basically for that, but you just, clean the windows and go on, making very good money at it. But being an entrepreneurship, cutting hair, different things like that, which I ain't saying these things are hard. I'm not saying you got to go to school for them, but there are programs that we're involved with that can help you with these things. So it's hand in hand. Just Jobs for Hope, they do a great job. You work with them, and you work with them as well. I think the thing with the partnership with Generations would be great. I really do, because I think you'll start to see a shift, right? Because once the mental, right? Because then you got to think we're talking about it. You lived it, and like I told you, I know it from being a counselor. Not to say I know how you feel. That's just not a word you use. Or I know what you're going through. I don't know what you're going through, right? I can just help you through whatever you are going through. I can't say that I know what you feel. I don't know, but as far as reentry, I do know, because it had nothing to do with incarceration. You said that it doesn't have anything to do with incarceration, but I was at a job, doing real well, but I just tell you, I couldn't pass the test to go further. I'm just telling you, it didn't. So I had just shifted. Like, that during that time, I shifted my, what I was going to do, but it's the same thing. I just tell you, we worked at a, soft drink distillery or whatever for a while, and then I went on and switched over. But it was the best thing. But at the time, I didn't know it. I didn't know that, and worked at one of the worst jobs I could ever have. But it was one of the best jobs I could ever have too. Renting cars. I won't say the name of it, but it wasn't the actual place. It was just the actual kind of the atmosphere I guess I was in. Right. It really wasn't what I was used to. I'm used to helping people, but I'm only used to helping them in certain way,
Right.
not so much to guide them into something.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in, helping, and I'm not saying they wasn't, but it's just different. I mean, a different tactic that I wasn't used to, but I'm glad I experienced it. But it was reentry.
Right.
Let's get it right. It was reentry. It was me, learning different things, and not really, really grasping on the past of what I had to leave it then. I had to leave the past as soon as I turned my 2 weeks notice in. I had to leave it. I mean, and go, and it was tough. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, it was tough. But through that, you just learn and you just build. You build on certain things, but you're gonna fail. I mean, let's get it right. At times you will fail, but I put it up over there. Sometimes you become strong during the hard seasons. The hard seasons of your life, you become more strong. You become stronger by getting through them. Some of it, you put yourself in that position. I'm not gonna sit there and say, some of it didn't though. I can't say everybody's put themselves in a bad position. Sometimes it happens, but how you get up and how you get second chances. That's the thing. And so tell me about this. So how do you find the employers willing? Because, okay, two questions. There are employers willing to hire and give people a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. But when you first started out, was that the case?
No, because I felt like I go into this business thinking that no employer will hire a convicted felon.
Right.
That's the mindset you got to have. Like, I'm going in there to convince them that we can, that people in my position could do that. So
right.
That's where the interview skills come in, because if you could maneuver around that question
right.
when they ask you,
right.
then you in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's so many jobs that I've worked at, and when the background come back and they see it, they like, I wouldn't even have knew. Like, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the way I go into these jobs. Like,
but have you swayed a few?
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
don't think you understand. It's not easy to get them to get any. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. It's not easy to get an employee hired who have a clean background. And never compared about. You know what I mean? Because everything. Some employers looking for that right person or looking at. Sometimes it doesn't come that way. You have to build that right person.
You gotta let them know that you need them. Like, we need people like you to help people like us.
Exactly. Right.
If you could give a person a chance, then maybe the next person to do it, too.
Right.
It's like dominoes.
It's funny you said that, because it's like, it's been a while. It's a restaurant down the street from here. I ain't gonna say the name of it because it's not bad, but I see they're going through a transition. They left, some managers left, so there's some new ones coming. But now I start to see, it's been about a couple months, but now I see the shift of them training the people that they have now in order to get them back up in the state. So now it's running a lot better than it was a month ago. Yeah. But sometimes we don't even see that. I don't even see it because I go there a lot. But you don't even see it. But that's a lot of different places now. They see, there's a lot of different turnover in jobs as well. And when that happens, like I said, for now that has happened, that's why what you do is very important. Yeah. Oh, we wanted the people to do that, but I'm just saying they don't want. I ain't gonna say this ain't not a blanket thing, but I mean. It's not. They ain't trying to work. No. Or what you say? $9 an hour. What you say? I mean, they ain't trying to do right. Yeah. They ain't trying to do. But nevertheless, did you know it could be a raise coming up in 30 days or 90 days or whatever?
Yeah.
They want to see that you there. They ain't gonna do this hand to see, but sometimes it's like I'm worth more than that. I don't know. I mean, when I left that job, I had to understand, and I was making good money, but I had to understand that I might not make that money again at that time. Crazy thing about it, about maybe a year after that, I did make the same money, but the job wasn't the job I was telling you about renting cars, but it was another one. And it wasn't what you cracked. So don't ever, and I think that's one of the things I guess you would do would be money. Yeah. Like how much you get paid an hour and stuff like that. I'm just I want 15, 20. I mean, it doesn't always happen that way.
No, it don't. And that's they felt we have failed to realize that. Just be grateful that somebody's willing to take you in right now at this moment. That's how I look at it now. Like, $9 an hour, it's kind of shaky. You ain't gonna be able to take care of your family. I'm letting you know this now. But like you said, in 30 days, you might be a manager.
Yeah, you're right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
They bring you in.
The
work has to speak for itself. You get what I'm saying? You already going in with a barrier. You got a felony, okay? Right. You were a drug addict about 6-7 months ago. So we're gonna bring you in this $9. We're gonna make sure you ain't stealing from us. We'll make sure you ain't harassing unemployment. You ain't beating on nobody.
Right.
And
right.
you're great. Let's go ahead and and move you on up into the next level. We trust you now. That's what it is. You just got to build the trust back.
Right. I mean, you're right about that.
It's all it's about, is building trust.
And I think that's a lot, when it comes to, I think that's a lot of employers are looking for that trust, right? I mean, and that's, one of the things about it is how do you gain that? Do you follow through with what you're saying? Sometimes I tell my daughter that all the time. Just don't say it. I don't think you get the power. Just don't say the promise or what you're going to do. Then I'm not expecting you to do it. But once you say it, I kind of expect you to do it because that's what your word is. A lot of people don't understand how valuable your word still is.
Yep.
I know, but you know why we don't? Because so many people they don't go by it. And that's really hard. I mean, at times, a lot of times it's you want to be treated fairly, right? But we trust people more when their actions meet what their words say. That's why I said what you do is showing up is bigger than that. Because once you do that, then down your actions are, oh shoot, I'm here. You know what I mean? Instead of just saying, oh, whatever. Because right now, a lot of things you do, from what I've heard, just a bunch of felons is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
That doesn't all mean that doesn't get money, but it's nonprofit. So I mean, you basically started it
with nothing.
Exactly right, and that happens, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's to actually have something. There's other programs as well involved with that as well, just to help, right? Help get your office, and that what you're working on next, right?
Yep.
Right. So I mean, that's the thing, with those things as well.
It's important to get an office. I said that, but if I got, I just kept saying like, I don't even need nowhere right now. Right. As long as I got all the partnerships that I need, they could come to me and I could, there you go, and I help them see it through. That's it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I didn't know nothing about the resources that we have now. Like until I got into this organization, I didn't know about the summit.
Right.
I didn't know about Generation Sales. I didn't know about Seed Sower, just Jobs and Hope. I knew about nothing.
I think a lot of times you'll know this. It's like, sometimes when you associate just the associations, right?
Yep.
You don't know because you just don't know. Just kind of like the car you got now. Yep. You probably never seen that car. No. Now you see 1,000 times. It's just how it is. I mean, that association. But yeah, there's a lot of places that help. A lot of people say the same thing you said about knowing. They just don't know. I mean, because where they looking at, we might not be. But if we go where they are, we will. Like You're Not Alone and, events like that, which we went to before. I think they got a couple more coming up. Those are great things to get the word out, definitely. Because people are definitely, you've been to them before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been to them before. So that's what I said. Those are great things. And I think that is a way for the community to understand because, there's different people there. We just, did our first one the other day over in Fayette County. But I'm saying it was amazing just to see, like I said before, because it didn't, is everybody just there? And we don't do that with anything other than, people attached to it. And I'm not getting on vendors. Vendors got to make the money too. Don't get me wrong. But that part, a lot of vendors or whatever. But now nobody's selling anything.
Yeah.
Nobody's selling, so think about it any place you go. I'm like, now I look back and saw that. I was like, man, that's pretty neat. Everybody just, offering, water or whatever. Things like that as well. I mean, but, that to me, it goes both ways, respect, right? Employers, just the same thing. But also, we have to be, as employers, respect the people that come in the doors as well, right? Even more so, to me, I believe, right? And that's not maybe everybody's thinking, but it is mine because you have to. You also have to avoid favoritism, and that's where I think we get into a lot of different things as well. The favoritism, I'm sure, in the workplace kind of comes up as well. Mm-hmm. And one thing you just did, like speaking professionally, those things they do matter. I mean, in a certain way. And that's definitely something that's good as well. Me too. I mean, like I said, I always have to think about that as well. Definitely in cases where because I think if as an employer, if we can think more objectively and not subjectively, then what you're saying, it won't always come into play. Right. You got to, it's the one of those things where, like you said about actions and words, you say you're inviting, but then you're not inviting. If you're not, that's not what you want to do. I mean, not to me. I mean, like I said before, but I like what you said about accountability. That creates credibility. Accountability does. Admitting your mistakes. That's all. I mean, mid-months. I mean, like I told you, I mean, and I make mistakes now. You know, I mean, I'm trying to get better, right? But good leadership, we take responsibility. It's my fault. It's not, you know, if somebody's not trained right, it's my fault. It's not theirs, right? It's not theirs, right? So I have to break it down to where, you know, they can understand or learn, right? Then I'll know they don't want to do it, right? I mean, that's the thing. I think, you know, it's catching people, you know, and getting them equipped with things. That's what I said. I think a lot of times we say in an interview, I can do this, I can do that. It was a lady, I mean, that worked for me years ago, but you know, she said and I don't know, I guess got a good memory when it comes to people saying things to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember her saying she was good at computers, but then when she got there, she didn't know how to work them. But I was like, well, she know how to do it. It's on my mind because here's the thing, it wouldn't have been a big deal if you say, can I say right now she doesn't work on computers and she's in the interview. Okay, we can teach you that. Right. But now that you said you could, think about it. When I said I could teach, right. I mean, it's different. I mean, so now I might have to spend time, not saying I wouldn't have, but it would have been easier just to be honest.
Yes, from the beginning. That's what happened. Well, I mean, it wasn't that, but when I had moved into an apartment one time, they asked, have you ever been a convicted felon? And I put no. You get what I'm saying? Out there. Because I already know they ain't going to let me in the door. So he called me. He was like, well, Miss, we ran your background check, and it shows that you are convicted felon. And I get the stuttering. Well, and I was like, you know what? I did. I messed up. Like he said, well, we accept felons, but where you lied, we can't help you out. I'm like, okay, man, let it go. Then like 2 or 3 days later, he called me back. He said, you know what? We're going to give you a chance because you didn't cuss me out. You were kind about it, so, and that's where I live to this day.
But that's the thing, I mean, sometimes, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but the truth will set you free. That's what it did. You told the truth, and then instead of fighting it, and just tell the truth and let's go. And now, when we talk about it, and we haven't gotten to this, but we did a long time ago, going in there, telling them all, that's another thing that's kind of tricky. Like when we go in there, like you said, you're a felon, but then they kind of get the pride. So to see what type. Now we got a little difference. You know what I mean? So there are certain things that you can answer, right? Certain ways you can answer in a professional way, but yet still not reveal. Not saying we're hiding, but it's like it's there. Once you run it, you'll see it. So it's no need, because once I do it in this interview, you're gonna be like, shoot, trying to dig in and see, and that's So it's definitely something we had spoke to some guys about, doing an interview, because there's also a gap. Yeah. You said that. There's a gap in between. What's this gap right here? Now you worked pretty good up until 2020, 25. Now where's this gap from now? And even kind of saying some things, in a professional way, to not, not that we're hiding. I'm not saying that, but it's just like, it's like I said, a lot of judgmental things going on, whatever. But now it's more about you showing up now, because think about it, there's a lot of jobs out here that people just don't want to take for whatever reason. Even the fast food jobs, they're paying daily, sometimes paying weekly or whatever, but they're paying. So, I mean, but everybody in their mind thinks, well, I don't want to work no fast food. But I say, I will tell you this, working, I work sort of fast food, like a restaurant, you leave it there though. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm telling you, the more you feel like you need money and the more responsibility is on you, and you definitely don't want to be tied to no phone. Not in mine. It's just one of them things. I mean, I'm still like, man, like shaky over there. Me being held to that phone, being on call. Man, I'm telling you, it's rough, man, because you can't. Mentally, it's one of the things that people don't understand. Like I told you, I just worked an 8-hour shift at McDonald's, and it's over. It's over, right? Yeah. But think about it. If you was a manager, man. So Mike ain't come in. Now you at home. Now you gotta get ready, man. It's rough, man. But you guess what? You salary. Right, you ain't hourly now, so you gotta get them clothes back. Yeah. So it's something you had. I mean, so there is a, and it's good to have that responsibility, because through that, don't get me wrong, you could probably a manager at McDonald's to a manager at at one of these major companies, because a manager is a manager is a manager. When it comes to, I get it, but you still learn the managing skills, and that's the big thing. So starting out on the quote unquote, if you think it's the bottom, it's not a bad thing. Because I think any money that you gather in, as far as, on the legal side and doing it daily, or, that way, is a better way anyway. Because you don't have to look behind your back or look at anybody trying to take it from. It's not. And I get it. You want more money, and I get that. but we got to put in the work in order to get it. But some people don't. I don't know what some people are. That's another thing, taking your pride and putting it to the side.
Yep.
Because I'm sure I encountered a lot anyway about pride, not so much in my job, but just when I talk to the gentleman, where at the fellowship home, things like that, is that pride. There's a more, like I said, on the substance abuse issue thing, but still,
Yeah. I see it more in men than anything. They got that big pride that I'm supposed to take care of my family. Flipping, you better go flipping for a little bit longer. Get you a couple more hours in. That's how.
You do know without a job,
You're not supporting them at all. Exactly. Yeah, like come on now.
I think a lot of that, when you go back to, this going back a long time, but it's just different when the roles have changed a lot. I mean, like I said before, I'm not saying that men aren't doing things, because I know they are, but women are doing things just the same, and it's hard for people to understand, that women are strong. I mean, and not that men aren't, but sometimes, if you mad because the woman doing, step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Step up to the plate then, if that's the case. If you thinking that, but that's the thing, pride gets you to thinking, I ain't gonna walk in no parole, or I ain't gonna go in this employer's and talk to them about, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Because if you're hungry, if you really, believe in what you're doing, you will. Male or female, doesn't matter. I mean, like I said before, but it is good to see. But see, I think you can see this now. They don't even see you as a female.
No, they see me as a.
But you understand what I mean? No, I mean,
like,
now I'm not saying at first they probably didn't, but now they don't. I mean, it's like a
like,
person that that we need to get with. We need to get behind, because it's like she got something here where she's trying, and that's the thing. So it goes beyond that, because it's really now. Well, they call your name, but it's really about, just a bunch of felons. That's what you start to learn. It's like, wow, I mean, this is what, it is, and that's the thing, which is great. Don't get me wrong, which is great, because you got people that help you right now.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you like to shout them out. Not, you don't have to have a name, but definitely.
I don't mind telling. They don't mind telling.
Okay.
I got Courtney Settle. Let me tell you about her. The day I met her, when I started Just a Bunch of Felons in October, I met her later on in that month, and oh my gosh, she's the one that got me in parole. She's the one that got me down at Valtech. Wow. She's done, reached her hand out and broke her neck for me. Trina Tellez, she's had my back from the beginning. My car broke down during the time, and she's on call. I need a ride. She's there to take me to. And then Lindsay Burton, she's like the passing of her father, everything that she's been through.
Right.
She's been my backbone. So those three right there, they got my back. And then, I got Jamie, the one that came in and did, what she did. And then I got a girl out in Morgantown.
Wow.
And her grandfather was actually Judge Blake down in Fayette County. Right. So it was important to me to even have her in my corner.
Of course it is.
So she's down in Morgantown.
So you're picking up steam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great thing as well.
Yep. So I got a little team.
Right. And I think a couple of them they'll be on the panel.
Yeah.
Next week or a couple of weeks. For for Square Business podcast live, so that'd be great. Yeah, that's why I knew Kurt and Trina too.
Yeah.
But that's a great thing. I think getting the word out is a good thing. Supporting things like that as well. I mean, I don't know if you like that or not, but I mean, like I said, for even thinking about a podcast to get yourself out as well. You know what I mean? I think it's good as well.
I thought about it. I actually just thought about having something from not even a podcast, but I just think it's important for people that are like me that's been convicted of a felony and overcame and actually become something of themselves, for them to be able to tell their story. What was
you just said it.
Yeah.
You just said it. I think it is. I mean, familiarity is a great thing, and also that's the thing, consistent. And like I said before, so now I can do it. I mean, and people don't see that, but sometimes that's what it is. Like I said, we don't always get the best views, but it ain't even about that. It's just some people see somebody that saw it.
Don't take one person.
Right, and that's the thing. Somebody sees this, and then that can go from there as well. But I don't know if that's whatever it may be. I don't know what it is, but it's something that we a newsletter, things like that as well. Something like that that's get the word out. And that's what I say. And also to really realize that you're no different than I am. You just took a different road than I did. But that doesn't mean that we can't meet back, right, on the same road. which is the right road. And I think once we start to do that, because a lot of times people kind of, like they keep them, oh, you over here, you over there. We've seen it. Let's get it right. But, it doesn't have to be that way. Everybody's included. I think a lot of people that you work with are all different type of cultures and races as well.
Yeah.
I think it's good for you to see it, but you're young, so you probably started to see it anyway, but now you see it even more, and that's the thing, it's like, just, crushing that part of it, right? The racial divide or the cultural divide or even the social, divide of it, I think is a big thing. And once we start to do that, then we can start to, unite and unite better when it comes to that. And I think that's what, a lot of times what it takes. But it also takes us education as well to come on and, how can we, expect others to, want to accept us if we can't even accept each other?
Exactly.
And that's, I don't get it, but, that's not, I'm not for it, whatever, but I don't get it, but, that's the thing. I mean, once we stop doing that, I think it'd be a great thing.
Yeah.
It's like when we had the fellows from Square Biz on. I mean, like I said before, I'm not saying we do the same thing. We got a podcast. They got, okay, let's unite. Let's support them. And they, I seen them wearing the shirts to support us, right, as well. It's good to see, but it's definitely, like I said, for even with yourself. And like I said, but that's why, the partnership is important. It's important to the people that are going to come through the doors, right? It's important to you too, as far as, building your brand up as well. We do this, you do this, and we need to be good at what we do as well. I mean, let's get it right. I mean, we need to be good at what we do as well. But we're only good when people go out there and start to work. We already seen it happen before. So I know that it'll work because I've seen it. And they also keep the jobs. It wasn't only the fact that they do it. I don't know if this is I guess maybe more girls was in the program at the time. Maybe, and I just didn't notice it, but it's a lot of them. There's a lot of males working too, though. But there's a lot of females working too.
Yeah, I think the ladies just been showing up.
Maybe it might be right. You might be right.
I think they just been showing out, doing their things.
Right. I mean, I think it's a lot of times, and that probably could come from them seeing their role models of their parents doing it as well, right? And that's a story for another day. I mean, if that's only have a mom in the home and stuff like that, we can tackle that another day. But still, we can be present even if you don't live with your kids. I don't live with both of my kids, but I'm still present. I mean, that's a lot of times what it's being present, during those times, right? So it's really quality sometimes and more than anything. And I think, a lot of times that's what it takes. That's what you're doing. I mean, showing up, like I said before, showing up for these things, the events. And so you go to parole, where else you go? Like, where else you go? As far
To
as
rehab.
Okay. Yeah. Day center, right?
But no, I was going down in Valtex, and then I go out to West Virginia. So I go everywhere. Actually, like I don't just be stationed at one place. And then day report, I go up there a lot.
Day report, that's what I mean.
He said day center. I don't know about day center.
Well, day center down there, where our old office was.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of,
They changed it up,
right.
So I go a little bit everywhere. I think it's important for me to, get the brand out there, but it's really not even about the brand. I just had to have a name for it. If I could have just called it Kiana, I go over to Kiana, I would have just called it that.
Right,
but I guess it's really just about trying to. I done been through a lot,
right?
So it's just trying to get people.
Real quick, not to get too deep. How has this journey helped you though, personally?
Oh my God! It shows me that it's a lot more people out there like me than I thought. I'm not the only one that's facing these barriers, so I don't have to cuss every employer out. Then just being able to, it's the opportunity to be able to, enlighten other people through my story, and then being able to see all these resources that I never even knew that we had. So now I'm able to relay them to my father, to my brother, to anybody else that's coming up in these hard situations, and try to steer them correctly before the system have to correct them.
Right, being proactive. I think I'm glad you mentioned that too. When we say people are against, this is not a black or white statement or anything, but if people are against us, no, sometimes we're against ourselves. And that's you as a person, that's not you as a race, but you as a person, you're against, yourself. And that's the thing. You have to understand, if you stay stagnant, you will not grow. You will not grow. And that's the thing. And it's also something we have to also get the information that's given that's out there. As you can see, sometimes you ain't paying to get in these places. You go right. I mean, really. I mean, and trust me, it ain't easy to get in all these places that you get into either.
Right.
I'm telling you that it's not, because they don't know exactly, so your reputation must, really exceed itself, because they wouldn't be doing it if that was the case. But that's, a testament to you. That's a testament to having people around you that can do it as well. That's why anytime, like I said before, I don't think you understand the impact that you will have or having now. You will see it because you're young, so you'll see the impact, from a while. But also now the proactive. So now the proactive part is to get the young when they don't have anything going on, to keep it that way. And that, and even if they did, to know that they have a place to land when if they did, right, and come into places, and kind of get set up to where they can, kind of excel, and like sometimes it's not only here. I think it's getting better here, with employers in West Virginia. I do believe that, but because other states have already kind of, capitalized on the fact of, sometimes a person has a record, but they give them a second chance. And I think it's getting better here, definitely with some better jobs, hopefully, as well. But that's, a lot of times what we have to understand, people make mistakes, and then sometimes it does cost them, a lot. But, and like I said before, but being there for them, like you said, and having that mental health piece in there is a big thing. So tell me, so you said, so you can go right now, they contact you, and then you'll start to take them through. If I was just new, trying to get into reentry, I would contact you. And then we go from there. You'll meet with me. Right. And then tell me a little bit about how we go from there.
We'll build your success plan. So that's just finding out your triggers.
There we go.
Finding out the things that you actually like to do, because that's the kind of environment I like to put you in,
Right.
You want to be happy going to work. To learn a little bit about your childhood trauma, so that whenever I do introduce you to generations or anybody else that would deal with mental health, they'll know where we're coming from right then and there.
Right.
Just to get a little bit of a back history about you, so that we can build you a plan successfully.
Right. So you and like I said, so you do have some success for people. We have some success stories, right?
Yeah, I got plenty.
Yeah,
I had a caseload of 72. Went from October to now, a caseload of people of 72 people in. And these are people that have already had jobs. You get what I'm saying? They come to me like, hey, I just need something going on. I need somebody to talk to.
Right.
So now I was taking on, before I got with Generations, I'm taking on people's problems. You get what I'm saying? They can turn it, and we're friends now. So now I'm turning it into, now I'm telling you about my problem. I don't want to hear about you no more.
Well, that's it.
I
think now it's just getting down, us sitting down and sit down with the right people in order to even streamline it even more. Those things are needed. Trust me, those things are needed, but it's also needed to be funded as well. In a way, because you're really helping, the community in a positive way. Like I said before, and that's the thing about, getting up and kind of, getting out there and doing these things as well. I mean, like I said before, I can't wait, to see what the day entails. I mean, if we have one person, that's enough. I mean, that's enough. I was telling some of the kids the other day. I mean, if you were here, that's what you're meant to be here. And to see them, it gives me hope when I see the kids coming in. We coming in learning, right? Coming in learning like from the ground up, basically. Reading about it. They reading about different things like like international etiquette, different things like that as well. Just learning from abroad, and they're all doing it in the confines of Beckley, or to me, is a great thing. I think so. I mean, so when you go, you have jobs, and then you have careers, and a lot of times your career is something you really enjoy, and that's it. So hopefully that's what you can do. You can blossom this into a career. I know it's not only a job to you, but it is a career now, but also, to where you can devote your time straight. Think about how much, if you could devote all your time to it, how much, a lot of your time, of course, your personal time, but a lot of your time to it. I think it's what it starts that way. I think it also starts with us researching places that have already done it. So we can see, and see what they've done. And not saying we're trying to copycat, but then again, it's all sometimes like reinvent the wheel. Sometimes, this is West Virginia, this ain't North Carolina, so it's okay to maybe use some of the things that maybe work in North Carolina here, or vice versa. Same difference. I mean, I think a lot of times, that's the encouragement of people getting out there is a big thing as well. I mean, getting there and doing these things. That's why I said I think the more we do it, the better we can be.
Yep.
I
Oh,
mean,
and FMRS too.
Okay.
You know, we work hand in hand with them also. So for the mental health aspect of it.
I could be wrong. So if I say this, I'll go back to, but FMRS is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Did not even know that.
Yeah.
Think about all the different things they got going on.
Yep.
It's a nonprofit. I mean, I think that's outstanding. To anything, the research would be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To see, because that's what you want. I mean, things like that, just to help. And look how many people they help.
Yeah.
I mean, they help a lot. I mean, they have a lot of different branches all as
Yeah.
well too. And I think, you know, with us, you know, in the journey that we are, having you on board, you need these things. These branches. It don't have to be called Summit. It don't matter. I mean, to me, what it called. Whatever. But you know what I mean? You have these branches.
Yeah.
It was a Pastor Leach came on and was talking about that, about how to, I mean, it made sense. I mean, how to branch it out, you know, in order to, you know, self-sustain, whatever that is. If it's the water was the main thing, then we branched out and it always fed back into the water.
Yeah.
But still wanted to make it grow even
Yeah.
more. So it wasn't only the fact of that. And I think a lot of times, and I think, you know, he was talking about the church in this sense, but he was just giving, you know, an example of how it could grow. That's what it's about. I mean, it's way bigger than the Summit, way bigger than just a bunch of felons. Only to say to have a big conglomerate of, you know, partnerships, right, in order to get, you know, gather. And that's why I said, and when I think about FMRS, so I think, you know, a lot of times about things like that as well. That's why it's good to have, you know, people like you said, like yourself on, you know, come on anytime. Like I said before, if you want to do it on here, the spotlight,
Yeah.
we'll get out of your way. We'll give you the mic and you can run at it. Like I said, put all your stuff on the board
Right.
and we roll for it. I mean, I think it's just better to have, you know, getting those success stories out there because you know how it is now. People flipping a button on their phone, they're
Yeah.
looking at things, they're catching it. But they may not know you from, you know, from the street, but they
Right.
will know, oh shoot, that's that lady who's there.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I mean, to get you out there and get to growing.
Very nice.
So I appreciate you coming. Like I said before, appreciate you, Mike. I think, like I said before, when we start, like I said, today will be workplace readiness. Tomorrow will be financial literacy. We didn't get on that a lot, but we will. I mean, you definitely have to have your finances in order. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a lot of people out there, and you're gonna have to, you know, some give and take too.
Yeah.
What I need, what I want. I mean, we do this game called Spent. And you start to see that. I mean, it's real life. So it's like, when am I going to do this? Usually when you take those shortcuts, it's okay now, but on the backside, it come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's even down to going to the dentist. Remember when it has one in there, you go to they shove it off because it costs money. But now I need a root canal.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I didn't do it here because now I need a root canal. Now I got to do it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. So it's, you know, good to get these things out. Like I said, I mean, I thank you all. This has been enjoyable. I mean, we haven't went live in a long time. I mean, so it was good to go live. But like I said, we'll be having sign-ups for Camp Elevate coming up Monday. We're trying to sign up 25 kids to come, you know, do it. We have a month-long, camp that we're going to do with kids. We actually can announce that it's going to actually be at the East Park. At the Cultural Center, Moffitt Cultural Center, that'll be the base of it. So that's a great thing. And I think Debbie Williams for that, and also April Clark as well, for help setting that up. They've been, you know, countlessly working on, you know, just getting, you know, definitely a good partnership together as well. So I want to thank them as well. I mean, we'll get more information out about it, but like I said, it'll be on our website, thesummitcollective.org. The signups will be definitely for that. And we'll be doing, like I said, these classes here, these workforce development classes, just a bunch of felons and, you know, Donkey and Summit will be, you know, combined. So it'll be every Wednesday and Thursday, first of the month. So just remember at 1:00, 1 to 2, we have refreshments. Rooms already set up over there. Might look a little party, but that's okay. That's what we want. We're going for that party. Not party like that, but just in the mind of so you won't go to sleep, type of thing. So that's what we're doing. So I want to thank you all, and like I said before, thank you for watching. And we'll do it again next week, Lord's will.
Thank you.
That was good. That felt like the Montel Williams show. That was good.